Welcome back to Wee Willy Wonderfuls, and now we're going to be sewing on Bunny's tail and Bunny's bow. Let's get started. So the tail is placed just here. So what we're going to do is pop the tail in position. We're going to put the thread part obviously goes at the bottom, and we'll pop that there. So I like to have it this way up so the stitches are level, but obviously you can have it whichever way you like. That's just the way I like to do it, and we're looking to put it just there, so just above the top of the legs. Now I'll put a couple of the big pins through to hold it in position. You can pop them all the way around if you want, but I found 2 or 3 should hold it in position nicely. Oh, look at that. How cute is that little tail? So just check it's central. And make sure it's in the middle. You don't want to sew it on and find you're unhappy with it. Put that a little bit lower, I think. So I'm going to thread my needle with the thread that we left on the tail. And then all we're going to do is sew it on all around. So here we are. Let's have a look at what we're going to do. So we're going to sew it underneath here a little bit. So we're just going to grab a stitch and then a stitch on the tail again. Let's zoom in a little bit just so you can see a bit clearer what we are doing. So we're not going to do stitches right around here. We're just going to go slightly underneath the tail. And then a stitch as close to the last one as we can. And then another stitch on here. In essence, all we're doing is just going all the way around to make sure it's nice and secure. And again, go a couple of times around if you think a child could play with it. And then just a stitch on each and then pull it tight to make sure the tail is nice and secure. You might get a little bit of stuffing popping out as you're sewing, but we can just tidy that up at the end. Either push it back in or pull it out and pop it back in your stuffing bag. Can't really see a definite stitch to grab on the tail because it's just that little bit different shaped, but just looking for a stitch to make a stitch around a stitch wide. Just keeping them even. It's not an exact science. So making sure you're pulling it every few stitches and that it's pulling it on securely. Pull it tight again. We started about here, so I'll just double check if we've gone all the way around. Pull it a bit tighter to secure. Now let's take our pins out so we can see how secure it's on, because if we're pulling it when we've got a pin in it, the pin will be helping to hold it on. So we need to see how secure it is once we've taken them out. That's pretty secure. We've gone all the way around, look, we can tell. So I'm going to finish it off here, but say do go through again, go around again if you want to make extra sure that it's secure. So we'll finish off in the usual way, and we're going to pull and snip. Look at that, the moss stitch just makes it look so pretty. Well, lovely little tail you have, Arthur. Ah, that's so nice. So with the little bit of stuffing, I'm just going to pull it, see if it'll come out. I think we've actually just caught the thread on it slightly. So all I'm going to do is snip it really low with those, just so it's not left in the way. So there's Bunny's little tail sewn on. So now we're just going to do the bow tie as well, which we made right at the beginning. I bet that last tutorial feels a long, first tutorial feels a long way away. So we've just threaded our needle onto the strand, and that is the back of the bow. So we're mainly going to sew onto her ear, and we're mainly just going to be going through that back part here. We don't want to be going through onto the front because we'll end up with lines across here or stitches on the front. So when we're stitching on, we're going to concentrate on this back piece here that's out of sight. Now if you were making an Arthur, which we said we was, but it's quite pink, isn't it? So not that it matters, but we could have an Arthur like that. So what we do is sew it here. So we do stitches here like so, and then a stitch through here and a stitch through here, and do a few to keep it securely in place. Oh, that looks really nice actually. I like Arthur with the pink bow. But if we were doing Betsy, we would position it here, just slightly off to the side like so. That's how I like to position it. And I often put it at this side, but obviously feel free to put it how you want. You could put it at the top. I just like it just by your ear, so I'm going to pop it there just to show you. It's a little bit more awkward sewing it on here, so I'm just going to pop a pin in it just to keep it in position for the first few stitches. So what I'm going to do is pop a stitch through the head, into the head, just by the ear, to the right hand side slightly, like so. And then so I'm going to go through those and the stitches at the back and forward a few times. Then I'm going to do that. Don't make this huge stitch here, otherwise you'll see it, but make it big enough to make sure it's nice and securely fastened. Again through the back. You'll have to pull it forward as you're working just so you can see what you're doing at the back there. Another one. Again, that's at the back there, so I'd probably do at least half a dozen to make sure it's nice and secure. So what I'm going to do now is just take those pins out and give it a pulse if it seems secure. I think I'm going to need another couple of stitches, and what I'm going to do, it feels a little bit loose at the top. So I'm just going to go through, see that's just going through the bow part as well a little bit, but not onto the front. And that's just to make sure that top bit isn't loose. We're going to want a nice, firm, secure bow so it's not falling off. Okay, so I've got quite a few more extra. Pull it nice and firm. And then we're going to pop that there and see what it looks like. So you can't see our stitches on the front at all. You could only see them if you really looked underneath, but they're just blending with the pink there. Look at that. That looks so lovely. I did like Arthur with the pink one. That looks really dapper. Now we're going to do a few stitches away again. Back in and out. And then we're going to trim that off again. So nice and easy. And so if you wanting a bow tie, you would just pop it and sew it here, just exactly there in the middle. And look how pretty that looks. Absolutely lovely. And the wool that you receive in your kit is 6 gram ball, which is more than enough to make 2 bows. So you can go through the bow and pull out the colour section that you like the most. It changes colour a little bit, but you can use any wool for this. It's a nice contrast colour, just something that will contrast with it. If you're working from the pattern, just choose something that you like for the contrast. How pretty does she look? Betsy, you look beautiful. So next we're going to show you how to do the eyes. So sew on the bow and the tail, and we'll catch up with you in the next video.